It is about 16:30, 4:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, May the 11th. I set the G2 half an hour or so ago. We were sailing under sheet to tiller, but the wind went around too far to the stern, so that the mainsail was blanketing the jib. And while, if you look around, it looks as though we're in open water. We're not. There's a Bahamian key only 5 miles over that way. And the waters are going to get more constricted as we continue on. We're headed toward the southeastern end of the old Bahama Channel, which is only about 10 miles wide and has shipping traffic separation lanes. That goes on for about 80 miles. So for the next almost 200 miles, 150 anyway, we need to be sailing compass courses. So the Pelagic is steering. G2 is a great sail, as I have said before. It took our speed from under the, we had a full main and jib up. We were doing about 3.9. The G2 we're doing 5 and sometimes 6. I'm going to leave it up as long as I can throughout the night. Hopefully it'll make it all through the night. There's a full moon. And it's been another beautiful day. Yesterday the weather was beautiful, but the waves were not. And the wind picked up some, and there was really chaos about this time yesterday. No sitting on the deck. A couple of waves even crashed aboard. They haven't done that for a long time. A Moore 24 reality check. But it settled down by 2200, 10 o'clock, and I got up and came out and switched from the Pelagic to sheet to tiller. Full moon, I didn't even need to use my headlamp. I could see well enough by the full moon. It's beautiful. Kind of a trade wind sky here, just settled in if you look at the clouds. I have the end of the Pelagic tied to the tiller. The Pelagic has a tendency to lift the pin in the tiller. Well, that line's Dyneema, it's not going to lift it with that. I had put that pin in there with epoxies, even 5200. This time I used some stuff called Dr. Sale's epoxy, which is very easy to use. I've used it for sail repair, and it's supposed to be very strong. It might have held it by itself, but it's tied in place. Just before I set the G2, I hear a motor, and I look over to the north, which is starboard, not exactly, but northeast rather. And I see a open runabout coming toward me, a couple of guys in it. Well, after having some fishermen who tried to become pirates and board the Hawk of Tuanel off Java on the last circumnavigation, I am somewhat dubious about boats approaching me at sea, but a couple of teenagers who in wetsuits who had been diving over there on the shallows on the bank wanted to sell me fish. I told them I couldn't cook them, and they smiled and waved and went on their way. They went toward Cuba, which is 40 miles that way. I guess you can get over there pretty quickly in a small runabout with a big engine. We should reach the southeastern end of the old Bahama Channel tomorrow morning. It would be good to do as much of it as possible in daylight. Been a lot of beautiful sailing on this passage. Probably the nicest passage I recall. Maybe, certainly in a long, long time. Key West is 375 miles ahead of us. I haven't been thinking about the final destination on this passage, simply whatever the next obstacle is, from the Mona Passage to various islands and shoals, and now the constricting channel ahead of us. Be nice if this weather holds all the way.